Good morning and welcome to Hope, Faith, and Joy Daily Devotion with me, Pastor Amanda. Today we are taking a look at chapter 2 of Matthew. And as we dive into this scripture, what we discover is that chapter 2 is about revelation. It's about epiphany. It's about receiving messages from God to help us along our journeys. And both good news and bad news is delivered during these opportunities of revelation in this chapter. So chapter 2 begins with the wise men learning that the Messiah will be born and that they're going to travel to Bethlehem. And what's neat about this is chapter 2 is introducing that Jesus has come not just for the Jewish people, but also for the Gentiles, for everyone. Because these were, the wise men would have been teachers, scholars, astrologers, astronomers. They would have been traveling from the epicenter of education and knowledge, which would have been in Africa at the time. And so they were unfamiliar, might have been unfamiliar with the Jewish faith, but or even if they were familiar with it, they weren't of it. And so we see here that already the Messiah has come for everyone. And so what we find, though, is that as they are approaching, they receive dreams of what to do. A dream, though, is not like our nighttime bedtime dreams. It's an opportunity in which you engage in receiving direction, guidance, wisdom from a higher power. So for the wise men, the scripture tells us it still came from God. But what they did is they were seeking engagement for understanding. But the word dream is used in our text. And it's the word that connects through the rest of the chapter. And so through this engagement with God, even though they're not Jewish, they are warned to protect this Messiah, Jesus, by going a different direction. So by them doing this, some other events start happening, going on at this point in time. And the next thing we find, starting in about verse 13 of chapter 2, is now Joseph is having dreams. We are told that he is warned by an angel in a dream. And this isn't, again, it's not that bedtime, dreaming of weird things and everything. This is because we know that Joseph is already a righteous man. He is taking time to engage God in wisdom and discernment on a regular basis. And if you've ever been in a deep prayer life, if you've ever taken the time to truly sit down and engage God this way, you'll realize it's just like this wisdom will pour into you, this understand. You might want to call it intuition. You might say it's just a thought that didn't feel like my thought. It felt like an outside thought. But once you're in it, and the best word, a good word for it is dream. It comes in a dream. But there's some other words that maybe will help you understand that more. And so Joseph had this dream, and this is where we start to see that God's guiding him for safety. In this sense, he's told to flee. And he has to take his wife and child to Egypt because Herod is going on a rampage because these wise men didn't bring this child to him. And so we find that it's big. It's not something small. It's a big decision he has to make, but he's been given guidance through a dream. And it's the same process of continually engaging God that then Joseph has another dream in which he's able to return and come back home, so to speak. And so it's his direction on how to build a life up for his family. And what is important is that revelation, epiphany, engagement with God happens to all of us. Anybody. You don't have to be somebody special. You don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to be an awesome, amazing Christian. What you have to be is somebody willing to engage God and seek wisdom and discernment and trust when you do receive those messages to follow them. Because that's what we see in chapter 2. The wise men followed the instructions of the dream. Joseph followed the instructions of the dream. Like, God is continually speaking to us, giving us guidance, giving us wisdom. We just have to trust that and then follow in the same way. And right now, in the midst of everything that's going on, this can be hard. But I also think maybe it's a little bit easier too, because we are more ready and eager to seek discernment, to seek wisdom and guidance from God, where maybe we haven't been so much in our life prior to everything. And so I hope that you'll take some time in your day, in your week, to sit down and truly engage God and allow the wisdom to pour into you and guide you and lead you in the directions that God is calling you. And so I hope that you found some encouragement from this devotion of chapter 2 of Matthew today. And I look forward to going through chapter 3 with you tomorrow. Please leave any comments or thoughts in the notes part, in the description area, comment area. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So have a fantastic day.